Hi students, today we are going to learn verb, chapter number 6. Let us understand what is a verb. A verb is a word that says something about a noun or a pronoun. Example, the dog ran across the road. She accepted the job offer. Now here what the dog was doing, children? Running. So the word ran is the verb. She accepted the job. What she did? She accepted. So the word accepted is the verb. Now how to identify a verb in the sentence? The main verb of a sentence will always be located within the predicate. So in the earlier class you have learned what is a subject and a predicate. A sentence is always divided into two parts, that is subject and the predicate. Now see the example and I'll give you an idea of subject and predicate. The dog ran across the road. So the dog, what ran across the road? The answer is the dog. So the dog is the subject. What was the dog doing? Ran across the road. So ran across the road is the predicate of the sentence. So remember children, in the predicate always verb comes first and it is the chief word of the predicate. Sometimes, the second point, sometimes a sentence will have more than one verb. So you may find that in a sentence you will find more than one verb. Generally or most probably, or you will find in a sentence only one verb and one subject. So if you find more than one verb, don't get confused. Often this verb will be a part of an infinitive. Now, an infinitive works as a noun, adverb or adjective within a sentence. So, what is the work of infinitive? It works as a noun or a adverb or adjective. An infinitive will always begin with the word to. So, if you will see a verb beginning with to, then it is not a verb but it is an infinitive. Rahul wanted to watch the cricket from the stadium. So here you can see wanted is also a verb and watch is also a verb. But what is the difference is that before watch you can see the word to. So it's an infinitive and wanted is the main verb. Moving on to the third point. Another type of verb in the sentence you will find is the auxiliary or the helping verb. Now let us understand what is an auxiliary verb or the helping verb. Auxiliary verb, to be. If you many a times in the fill in the blanks children, you have seen in the bracket it is given use be. Now what is the form of be, children? When it is given be, you see which auxiliary verb is suitable for that sentence. Here the to be form is given, that is am, are, is, was, were, being. These are all the to be form, children. So whenever in the bracket if be is given, then you understand that it is a to be form and according to the sentence suitable verb you can apply. Can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will and would. This is also a auxiliary or you can call it as a modal verb. Do. Do, the verb do has three forms: did, past tense; does, present tense, that is third person singular of a simple present tense. So does, there is no word like does, but we are adding es after do, so it is called does, and doing, which we use as a participle. Have, again have as a three forms, that is has, had and having. Now how to identify whether it is a verb or not? Then try this method, children. Example, Ravi will write a letter. Now here you can see will is the auxiliary verb, write is the main verb. Now how to identify what is an auxiliary verb? Okay, so use not after the verb or change the sentence into a question form with the help of the auxiliary verb. So let us see the answer given down. Ravi will not Ravi will not write a letter. Will Ravi write a letter? So you can see after will we have used not. So this means it is an auxiliary. It's a auxiliary verb, will Ravi, beginning with the question with beginning with the auxiliary verb. Children, verbs are found in two kinds, transitive and intransitive. This I have already taught you in the earlier lesson, but once again let us revise. Transitive verbs that need objects to complete their meanings are called transitive verb. Some verb takes two objects, direct and indirect objects. So children, transitive verbs which have object, which needs the verb which needs an object is a transitive verb, and there will be two kind of objects, that will be direct and indirect object. Now how to identify the objects in the sentence? A direct object, if you want to recognize, if you want to find out a direct object in the sentence, ask the question who. If it is a person, ask the question who or whom or what in a sentence. If it is a thing, you can ask the question what. Example is given, Ravi played with the football. So Ravi played with who? So there is no person. You can ask the question, what did Ravi play with? What is the answer? Football. Football is your direct object. Now let us see what is an indirect object. An indirect object answers the questions of to whom, for whom or for what. Okay, these three things you can ask. Example, let us see. I sent him a letter. So the question is, to whom did I send a letter? What is the answer? Him. So him is the indirect object. Moving on towards an intransitive verb. An intransitive verb do not require an object to complete their meaning are called intransitive verbs. So an intransitive, like transitive verb, intransitive does not require an object. So example, you can see dog barks. That after bark is the verb, and after bark you will see there is no verb. There is no object. The train arrived. After arrived is the verb. After the verb you can see there is no object, because both the sentences are complete. Both the sentences are meaningful. So this kind of verbs are intransitive verb. Now position of the objects. So children, there is position, there is a order to place the indirect object and the direct object. The usual practice is to place the indirect object after the verb and then the direct object. So if you form a sentence, children, the first after the verb directly comes the indirect object and then comes the direct object. But we can change this order. How we can change the order? By placing the direct object first and indirect object afterwards, but we have to use the preposition to or for. When we apply to or for, automatically we can change the position of the object. Let us see here. I have given you the example. The first example, you can see the teacher told them a story. Them, here you can see it is red in color and story blue in color. Now them is the indirect object and story is the direct object. Now when we change the position, we take them last and story front. How we can do that? You see, the teacher told a story to them. Here you can see we have applied to. Next example, she bought her child a doll. Again her child indirect and doll direct. Let us change the position. She bought a doll for her child. Now here one thing you have to remember is that children, use or apply for or to which is suitable according to the sentence. Read the sentence and which one is suitable, apply that. Worksheet, children, on page number 29 in your grammar book. Kindly copy down. The first one example I'll explain you. He sold me his car. Okay, so he sold me what? The answer is car. So car is the direct object. He sold to whom? The answer is me. So me is the indirect object. The second one again I'll explain you. The boy told him lies. The boy told what? The answer is lies. Lies is the direct object. The boy told to whom? Him. him is the indirect object. I hope you understand. You will try to do it, find out the other direct and indirect object this way. It will be easy for you. Worksheet on page number 28, question number B. Underline the verbs in the following sentences. Children, whether you have to find out whether it is the verb is transitive or intransitive. Here I have already given the answer, but I'll show you how you can find out. My brother and I often play chess. Okay, so what do my brother and I play? Chess. So chess is the object. You can see when chess is the object, it is a transitive verb because the verb carries a verb needs an object. The second one, the library closes at 5 p.m. So there is no object. After closes, there is no object. 5 p.m. is showing a time, children. It's not an object. So we ask the question when. When does the library close? So 5 p.m. So what? We want actually the answer with what. So it is an intransitive and there is no object. I have put star, children, both in the transitive column and the objective column. You can put a dash instead of that. So I hope you understood this part also very well. You also try to understand it. If you do not understand, kindly let me know. I'll make you clear again. Thank you.